To be clear, procrastination is not always putting off a task, because you may plan a task or schedule a task for like a week's time or something like that, and putting off that task, delaying that task, maybe as a result of like your time management or priority management. So sometimes delaying a task is not procrastination. Procrastination is when you avoid that task without an apparent reason, without a clear reason, and you don't even know why, even though you will have bad feelings afterwards. Maybe you made a promise to yourself to go a couple of times a week to the gym, or a couple of times at least exercise, and you end up every day really tired afterwards. In my case, how to create the perfect video can be really daunting, so maybe creating a YouTube Shorts instead may be more rewarding and give me this instant gratification that I'm craving. So if any of these examples sound familiar to you, please stay with me in this video, because I'm gonna dig deep into this famous topic of procrastination and actually explain to you what is procrastination and what it is not, because so many people think that is laziness, and others may also think that is poor time management, poor priority management, and other people saying even that is about carefree people, that they don't care what they are doing. And this is definitely not the case. It's actually the opposite. And as an expert procrastinator myself, I say that I care too much about stuff, and sometimes more than I should. Like people like me that care too much about the things, maybe they attach themselves to the things, they define themselves based on their projects or the things, and they are too attached and they care too much about the results. So that's why probably they don't even start, or they give up, because they identify themselves with the project or the thing they are doing. So it's much more hurtful. It's like I have high energy when I have a coffee, for example, and it doesn't mean that I'm gonna do the task. I am procrastinating. It can be associated with laziness, because when someone is lazy, actually you have no energy, you have apathy, you don't feel like doing stuff, and that's why sometimes you are more likely to procrastinate. But this is not the reason you procrastinate. You procrastinate sometimes when you have full of energy. It's not related with the energy levels. It's more about the fear of facing the negative feelings that you are gonna face while starting this task, or while doing the task itself, or even completing this task. It's neither about poor time management or poor priority management, because you really want to do something, but there's something inside you blocking you, because you know that you're gonna experience negative feelings when you do this task. Procrastination protects ourselves from one's feelings, because we see that task that we need to do and we see it as threatening. We see that we're gonna be facing bad feelings or negative feelings, and we don't want to face them. So actually we avoid them, and this may be consciously or unconsciously, and we may catch up ourselves like mindlessly scrolling something when we needed to write that report, but we don't want to face those feelings that we face up when we're doing that task. And in the long term, it's really bad, because you are gonna regret that you've procrastinated for so long. Your anxiety levels are gonna be high up. But in the short term, this is our body trying to protect us, So this is our body trying to protect us from that threat or from that bad feeling. Because the main thing here, why you are not doing the thing for no apparent reason, no logical reason, you have like high energy, you have all the time in the world, but you are still avoiding it. So it's an emotional problem. It's not a logical problem. So you may need to work on your emotions, on how you are gonna feel better while doing the task itself. Because if you accomplish that, you'll probably start doing the task. A bit more practical part of the video, I'm gonna explain to you 5 different reasons why we procrastinate boring or tedious tasks. The main reason here is because while doing the task, some boredom feelings and apathy and couldn't be bothered feelings are gonna appear. And also fear of missing out, because you are doing something that it's really boring, and you could be doing instead another thing. So this fear of missing out on other things and why you're doing these things, that like existential thoughts may cloud that task that you're doing. So that's why you procrastinate, because you know that you're gonna spend there whatever amount of time, but it's gonna be really boring. Maybe researching for this YouTube channel, I know about procrastination, I know more or less what I want to say, but actually researching a bit more to find some scientific videos or studies that can back up what I'm saying, actually it's a bit tedious, because I know the stuff, but I feel like I should do the research, so it's actually really boring, that part. So what I may do, maybe like going to a coffee shop and try to make the activity more enjoyable. Another example of a boring or tedious activity could be like maybe cleaning your house. Anything like house chores is really boring. So I may put some music, or I have a reward at the end of doing an hour of cleaning. So try to find some way to make it more enjoyable. Maybe the task is too long. The task is super long and you don't see the reward. Maybe the reward is in 1 year, or maybe the reward is, let's say, 6 months even. It's in this modern world that we have this instant gratification thing. Even 6 months is a long-term thing. So you imagine now, for example, learning a new language. It's not gonna take only a month. Maybe you need years to learn a new language, or play the piano professionally, for example. I do play the piano, and those things take time. Even though you put a lot of intensity and effort day to day, it's not gonna happen in a week. And when you know that the reward is so far away, you are more likely to put it off. You may have this fear that it's not gonna be a gratification really soon. So in this modern world with the instant gratification, we have it much harder to focus on long-term goals. Third reason, the task is so difficult, the task is so complex, or the task is just challenging for you. Writing a dissertation from your university, like the final step to you being graduated. Maybe writing a report for your promotion, maybe even preparing an interview that you really want to get. You have an interview in 3 days, you are trying to prepare that interview, but in 3 days it's gonna be done. The thing here is not the length, the thing here is not the boredom, actually, because you're gonna be like finding a thing, researching for the company. The thing here is the challenge. Maybe you are uncomfortable feeling like imposter syndrome. Maybe why I'm doing this, maybe they are not gonna take me to this job. Imposter syndrome, maybe perfectionism as well. Fear of failure. You're going to this interview, or you're going to do this dissertation presentation at uni. You have this fear inside of you that you're not gonna be enough, this not enoughness feeling. Reframe it actually in here. Everyone is a beginner when they are a beginner on something. So if it's the first time you are doing a dissertation, in my case it was a dissertation in English even. It's my first time doing this. How on earth I'm gonna be an expert? So I need to allow myself to feel these feelings of imposter, because it's not imposter, it's just beginner, you know. And when you're preparing that interview, you're really like aligned with the company, you really want this job, but that's the main reason you put so much effort, intensity in getting that position, that you are too attached. So that's why you have this fear of failure. If you didn't bother that much about this job, it could be another one of your 100 interview preps. You wouldn't bother that much. So it's because you care too much as well. So if you reframe those things, you realize that it's something that you really want to do. So actually you must do it. For here, the task is unknown, uncertain. You don't know what is gonna happen, so probably challenging for you. So this is similar to the previous one because you've never done it before. In my particular case, I own a car, and actually these car repairs and things like that, I always find them really challenging. And the first time I was doing one of them in a workshop, I didn't know what I was doing. So the feelings of being unsure, being like, what is gonna happen, this fear of the unknown, are they charging me so much, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, what you need to do is just repair your car, you know. But it's the first time you are doing this, so you may be really lost, and this feeling of being lost can control you. Things like more practical could be like you want to change career paths, you are fed up with your career at this point, but you are more afraid than motivated to take that leap of faith, to take that action. You need to really check in with yourself what it is important and make action regardless of those things, and try to make yourself much happier in the process. The task is unknown, it's uncertain, we don't know what to expect, so that's why we avoid it. So if you know you have strong fear of the unknown, you can work on it to make some steps towards your dreams, which are always outside of this comfort zone, outside of this control. And the last one, and not for this less important, because the task or the thing you are planning is not aligned to your values, to yourself, what is important to you, what you care about. So it doesn't have any meaning or purpose in your life. And this is totally linked with the misconception that procrastinators are carefree people, because sometimes you procrastinate a task because you don't care about the task. I understand the link here, but it is not procrastinators are carefree, but normally people that they don't care about the task procrastinate. So when something is being delegated to you that you don't care about, but maybe you care about that person, so you say like, yeah, I'll do it. But then you procrastinate it because that task itself, you don't care about it. Could be because you may have done this task or this thing for so long, but you now have changed and you don't want to face this new change or this new self or this new version of yourself, because this is scary. You've been living your life like based on the narrative that you are who you are, but maybe you've changed some things and you don't find meaning in the things you used to find meaning before. So now you need to rewrite your story, rewrite who you are, and actually face those negative probably feelings and face them. And maybe that task is not meaningful or has no purpose to you anymore, so shouldn't be on your to-do list. You're gonna be much more happier if you start doing that stuff, or if you start like finishing that report, if you commit to some exercise, you actually doing it, because yeah, in the end is what you want, and what you want is outside of this comfort zone that we create in our minds. So if you rely on discipline more than motivation, and also work on yourself to do this emotional regulation and make the task more enjoyable, or make the task more bearable for your inner feelings, you are gonna likely break this cycle. And I love to learn about how we can like manage our emotions to get to do the things we really want to do. So if you really want to overcome all your inner fears and learn how to overcome the fear of being judged, for example, I created a couple of videos previously that I'm gonna link on the description below, so you can continue watching, and see you in my next video. Bye bye!